All right, let's get started. I am Thontheri Johnson. I go by Z. I'm the community manager for QuestionPro. I'm also kind of the training manager. I'm on the marketing team. I wear lots of different hats. Today, this is the hat that I'm wearing is community manager and training manager. So today we're going to be talking again about a QuestionPro overview, giving you guys a view of what QuestionPro is, how it works, just give you, like it says, an overview of QuestionPro. So let's take a look at what our agenda is going to be today. Let me share my screen so that you can follow along. All right, there we go. Okay, so today what we're going to cover, my training sessions that I like to conduct, I always like to cover some best practices in market research, whether you're a seasoned market research professional or you're new to the field of market research as perhaps a DIY market researcher, do-it-yourselfer. I think just covering best practices is a great way to get us on the right footing, and my goal is to help you be successful as a market researcher as well as successful using our tool. So we're going to cover some best practices in market research. They're going to be very general. And then we're going to dive into QuestionPro. We're going to take a look at the main components of QuestionPro, which include creating and editing your survey, sending the survey out, and then reporting on it, and some of our integrations that we have with QuestionPro. So when it comes to edit survey, we're going to cover both how to create that survey, edit the survey, as well as the security options with the survey. So let's take a look first at our best practices in market research. So when it comes to best practices in market research, I like to define research, and this is really probably the most simple definition, it's just gathering information. I've written a bit more up here on this slide, however, really it's just gathering information. If you have ever asked a friend about their opinion about where they went for dinner, you have conducted a little bit of market research. Really, that's what it boils down to. You're just asking people their opinions, their thoughts, trying to get some feedback from people. So to do that, we often use questionnaires in market research. If you're familiar with this field, you know there's questionnaires, there are focus groups, there are all sorts of ways that you can gather this as primary market research. And the thing that we're going to focus on today, of course, is online questionnaires. So when it comes to creating those questionnaires, you want to be sure that the first rule of thumb you follow is have a clearly defined purpose. This will set you up for success from the get-go. If you are walking into your project with a clearly defined purpose for your project, for your questionnaire, you will have a much easier time than if you're just walking into it trying to gather a whole lot of information in one questionnaire. What is the one question you want answered? This will help make sure that all of the questions relate to the overall purpose. Now, there are times where you might be working, well, there will often be times where you're working with a big group of people who are all contributing to this questionnaire project, and everyone wants to be able to ask something. Well, going in with that clearly defined purpose can actually give you, as the person who is conducting the project, a bit of leverage to be able to tell others, you know what, this purpose is going to cover this particular set of questions. What we're talking about right now, we can cover that in a separate questionnaire. So just going in with that clearly defined purpose. Because of the clearly defined purpose, you need to consider your audience. Your length may vary for your questionnaires. There are long questionnaires, there are short questionnaires. You will often hear lots of people say keep it short and sweet is better than going longer, and that is a good rule of thumb. However, there are times where it does call for a longer questionnaire. Just be sure to do that judiciously. Don't make every questionnaire that you make super long. And in line with that, just make sure that questions flow logically, which takes us to my last best practice that we're going to talk about today, which is testing your questionnaire before it goes live. One of the cool things you'll see about QuestionPro is it comes with a live link. As soon as you create your questionnaire, there's a link available. And as soon as you have that questionnaire ready to go, you can be testing it throughout the process. I'll be showing you how you can delete all of the questions or all of the test responses so that you can start fresh once you're ready to really go live with your questionnaire. But be sure that you test it, but don't just test it to make sure it's working. Be sure that you test it as well to make sure that it covered your purpose, that the questions pertain to your primary purpose. Was it too long or too short? Should you have asked other questions? And last on this list, does the questionnaire work as planned? So those are just some overall best practices for doing questionnaire projects. We're now going to go into QuestionPro, take a look at what QuestionPro offers to help you be able to achieve this. So let's dive in. Let's bring QuestionPro up here. Okay, so the first thing you're going to see when you log into QuestionPro is you're going to see this screen that you can create a new survey. We just got done updating the user interface for this, so we're making things a little more streamlined, hopefully, for your experience with QuestionPro. So you're going to create this new survey by clicking on the button up here that says New Survey. As you do that, you're going to see a new screen that pops up, and it gives you 3 options for how to create your new survey. You can either create it from scratch, and that just means you're going to give it a name, give it a theme, select your language that you want to be creating the survey in. Or you can use a Word document. You can use the link down here to download a sample Microsoft Word document, because there is a little bit of coding that goes into this if you want to upload a Microsoft Word document as your survey. Or you can copy a survey template. We have a number of survey templates, and we're currently working on adding to this list of survey templates. But we have our most popular surveys is our default. As you'll see, we have different subsections here. We have customer and client satisfaction, we have website feedback, we have all sorts of different types of surveys that you can choose from. Today we're actually going to go ahead and take a look at this basic pack. We're going to select one of our quick surveys here to start with. Anytime that you are looking at these, you can click the preview button off to the side, and that will give you a quick preview of the survey without any formatting to it. It will show you the questions so you can see if that really is the starting point you want to work with. So let's go with quick newsletter satisfaction. Looks like there's only 2 questions here. We're going to select that. Now underneath, you'll see that we can select this theme. We have over 20 preloaded themes available. Everything that you see here from just a standard white with nothing else to it, or you can go a little more colorful. Today we're going to go with this orange color. It's one of my favorites. We'll create that survey. And then it's going to load. And now the next thing you see is my edit screen for my survey. Now for the edit screen, anytime that I'm hovering over a question, I'm going to see the flyout menu on the side. That's what we call this little menu off to the right. And that flyout menu is where I'm going to be able to edit my question, copy a question so that I can use it again in my survey. I can add logic to this question, or I can do some more. I can reorder questions, I can copy it to my library, and I can look at some of the display options for the question. So that's how we get around adding or editing particular questions. You can add questions by clicking either the green plus symbol above or below, depending on where we need that question to go. So we're going to add a question here so you can see the number of question types that we have available. The question types we have here, we have them split up into standard question types and then the advanced question types. In our advanced question types, we include our Net Promoter Score, the slider rating scale, we have a MAPS question, we also have reference data, which includes databases such as zip codes. So if you want to refer back to a zip code database, for example, here in the United States, you can do that using the reference data question. And in our standard question types, we have just what you would expect: matrix tables, image and video. This is a special question that we have called push to social, which is actually kind of a multi-part question, but it lets people give you a rating and then prompt them to share that rating if it meets criteria, which you can set here. share that rating on your Facebook, on your Twitter, on your Google Plus, or on your Yelp page. It also gives you the option of sharing information with you if they perhaps rated you a little lower than you were hoping. So that's some of our standard question types as well as our advanced question types. And any one of these you see that you can edit the question text, and then you can edit the response choices as well. All right, so we're going to close out of there. And now you'll see we're going to look directly at editing questions. In order for me to edit a question, I can do one of two things. I can click the Edit tab or the Edit button on the flyout menu. I can also click inside the text. And this is what you see is what you get type of editor, which means I can click in here, I can type it out, it will automatically update, and it just works from there. So I can click in, I can make my changes, I can do the same thing for my response options. And you'll see anytime that you see editable information, it's gonna, if you hover over it, you're gonna see that little dotted line around it, and that is how you know that you can edit that information. When you see here for this open text question, you'll see that we have a little drag and drop option for resizing the text box. Again, that is what you see is what you get formatting. So you can resize this to your heart's content. And if I want to preview this, I have a couple of options. I can preview it from any one of my questions by going again to the flyout menu and clicking preview. Or I can go up to the top and I can click this big preview button. And from here, I'll be able to preview my survey. So there we go, a preview of my survey. Now we've looked at how we can edit the survey. Let's take a look at some of the other options we have for the survey for customizing it so that it matches our brand identity. You can go into title and logo here at the top. And from there, I can upload my logo for my survey. I can also give it a title, and I can do some HTML formatting for that. Or if I want to do even more customization, I can click Customize Theme. If I know the hex code for the colors that we use, I can go in here, type over the hex code so that it updates, or I can have full CSS control. So if you have an IT department or a design department that knows the CSS, you can always work with them and get the full CSS treatment for your survey as well. So that's some of how you can customize your survey. Let's take a look at some of the security and finish options for our survey. So once I've completed my survey, I can go and click Finish Options here on the left. And now I can select the type of finish option I want. I can just go with the default finish option, which is just going to say thank you, and then it gives a link back to QuestionPro. Or I can change it to be this thank you page with a link. So I can customize this with my own message, my own link, direct them to wherever I want them to be directed when they finish the survey. I can also select from the advanced options, which are available with the corporate license. And that includes rewards, a spotlight report, automatically redirecting them so they don't have to click on a link. It just automatically redirects them to a particular link, as well as being able to connect either to QuestionPro panel or to a custom panel. So if you work with custom panels such as eRewards or Ipsos, we have ways that you can connect up to those panels. And last but not least, for the editing survey, we have our security options to cover for the survey. So there are a few things that I can do from security. First, I can automatically set a close date for my survey. I can also set a survey quota. So we have two different types of quotas. If you join us next week, we're going to cover Make Your Survey Smart, which covers logic for the survey. And in that, we're going to talk about quotas for individual questions and individual responses. This response quota is for the entire survey. So you can set a response quota here. You can also close this manually from the survey status area. You can also go into collaboration mode, which means the link that you use for the survey It's only available to people who you've invited to collaborate on the survey. It's a really nifty feature that we can go into later if you want some more information on it. Then we also have survey authentication methods. We have everything from password protecting the survey to using Facebook Connect to only people who received an email invitation having an authorized link from that invitation. We also have more advanced security if you're interested in that type of security, SAML, DES, encrypted custom variables. We also have SSL security, which changes your link from an HTTP link to the survey to HTTPS. So if you need that kind of level of security, we have that available. We also have anti-ballot box stuffing. I get tripped up on that every time I want to say it. That keeps people from responding multiple times to the same link. And we also have our save and continue option. And if you're interested in using a timer, you can set a countdown timer for up to, I believe the maximum, 90 minutes. So you can set a timer for that. This is really handy if you're doing a quiz and you want to make it a timed quiz. You can set the timer for the quiz here. All right, so that's from the Edit tab. Now, once we're done with the survey, we can go into the Send tab. We have a number of options for sending the survey. So these surveys, the traditional, I think, is to email the survey out. But we also have website embed options. You'll see we have this feedback tab ourselves on our app. If you click on it, then it pulls up a feedback survey. You can create your own here by going website embed. A number of options under website embed, and one of them is that website feedback tab. We also have an exit survey, pop-up surveys, embed into web page. So depending on what you need for your survey, your distribution method, you can select a different distribution method here. We also have our own panel. So if you need a targeted set of people to answer your survey, you can always purchase panel. And you can do that here. You can also post directly to your social network. And one thing that I realized I totally forgot about is this live survey link. So you remember me talking about before that when it comes to testing your survey, one of the cool things about QuestionPro is the minute you create your survey, there's a live survey link, and you can see that here. So this link, I can send it out to anybody and they can already start taking my survey. We also have a QR code, so you can generate printed materials. We have some pre-formatted materials. You can either just grab the QR code, save this, and it will take people directly to your survey, or you can use some pre-formatted options, such as the business card that also has a QR code integrated in there. A regular 4x6 card, so kind of that postcard size, as well as a table tent and a wall sign, 8x11. If you save any of these, they save as PDFs. You export it, you can print it, and anyone can use a QR code reader on their smartphone, their mobile device. They can use that and go directly to your survey. And then last but not least, we have both the offline survey app, so our mobile app for QuestionPro, which allows you to gather responses offline. We have a number of customers who have used that. And then we also have API. So if you need to have API access, we have that as well. So now you've sent your survey, you're gathering information, and you want to see the information, you can go to Reports. In the Reports tab, we have a real-time summary. That's what we call this. You'll see, because I already had viewed it, in the preview, it counted that as a view of my survey. So you'll see some summary statistics here at the top. You'll also see this live report link. So just like the live survey link, this live report link, as soon as you're gathering information for your survey, you can share this live report link with anybody, and it will take them to the real-time summary, which does get updated, just like it says, it gets updated real time. So you can get that real-time summary going, you can see, you can check back, and you can see people as they are taking the survey. You can also share this already on media, on your social media, Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. You can also have a QR code that goes directly to the report. You can do other things with this report. You can customize the report, you can customize the theme, you can add a summary of findings to your report that is added dynamically here so that it's available for anyone that has that link. We also have filters that you can apply to the report, and when you apply those filters, you actually get a filter link, specific link. So you can filter the report, grab that link, give it to whoever needs that filtered version of the report, and still be able to manipulate the information using the live report link. We also have a number of other options here on the side. We have ready-made infographics that you can use. We have a word cloud that is created for open-ended text questions. We also have crosstab and pivot tables. So if you want to do a little bit more in-depth analysis, we have that available as well. And you can do trend analysis, which lets you set up a regular time that you're looking at this report. So you can, if you have a survey that is out, let's say, for a few weeks, and you want to look at what the information is on a week-by-week basis, you can do that using the trend analysis. Which reminds me, you can also, for the survey, it's under the Edit tab, but you can set up what we call action alerts. And these action alerts, what they are when people are taking your survey, you can set up criteria that triggers an action alert. It can be someone completed my survey and now I get an email telling me that someone has completed my survey. It can be I had a rating question and I got rated poorly. I can automatically send that, let's say, to the sales team. Or opposite, someone rated me very high, I can send that as well via an action alert. So that's another option that you have with QuestionPro to keep tabs on what the responses are. It's something that we have used internally when we have surveys out that we use to be able to keep an eye on things that are coming in. So that's action alerts and reports. And the last thing that we'll cover is the integrations. Again, I want to just a quick reminder, if you're having questions along the way, please feel free to submit those as we're wrapping up with the integrations. So one of the coolest things about QuestionPro, I think, is our integrations. We integrate with a number of different things, and we're always working on our integrations. So right now we have integrations with Salesforce.com. So if you work in an organization that uses Salesforce as a customer relationship management tool, you can link your surveys with your Salesforce account. And in doing that, you can pipe information in directly to your Salesforce account. You can update fields in Salesforce. You can even create new records in Salesforce directly from a survey. Tie that directly into your Salesforce account. It's pretty powerful. We also have here the QuestionPro app. That is the mobile app. Scroll down a little bit. We have panel management. Last week we actually had a special free training that we covered about panel management. So this is different from the panel that you would purchase. This is creating your own online community panel. And so your own private research panel that you can use. We have integrated with our sister company Survey Analytics with their communities module. And this is the way that you can create your own private research panel and manage that panel. Tie it in with your QuestionPro account so you have a really streamlined experience. We also integrate with Dropbox and Google Apps. So if you want to connect up with either one of those, when you export your surveys or export your reports, you can export them and save them directly to a Dropbox account or directly to your Google Drive. We also have a Google Analytics integration, and this brings the power of Google Analytics to your surveys. So if you're familiar with Google Analytics, you can use the same codes, the same custom variables from Google Analytics. You can tie those into your survey and give you more in-depth information on how people are interacting. So great if you have a standalone form that you have used. QuestionPro to create the form. You have it up on your website, you've embedded it on your page. You can use Google Analytics to get even more information about how your visitors to your site are interacting with you. And then if you use Caspio, we also have Caspio integration. We actually did this for a customer, and it's now available to all other customers. So if you use Caspio, you can tie your QuestionPro account to your Caspio account as well. So those are the integrations that we have. And that is a quick overview of QuestionPro from start to finish, from creating your survey, editing your survey, adding new questions, putting your finish options, your security options, sending it out, maybe setting up an action alert to let you know when someone has replied, taking a look at their reports, and then integrations. So again, if you have questions about QuestionPro or about anything that we've covered, please feel free to use the Q&A module to submit those. Next week, we will be having the next in our series. So this is the first out of 4 weeks we start with the overview. Next week, we go into Make Your Survey Smart, going more in depth on logic and how you can add that to your survey to create a streamlined experience for your respondents. And then the week after that, we cover how to personalize and customize your surveys with QuestionPro. And in doing that, we're going to cover the send survey option more in depth. And the 4th week, we cover reporting. So we go really in depth on that reporting tab so you can see all of the power of reporting with QuestionPro. So if you haven't already signed up for those weeks of training, please feel free to do so at questionpro.com/webinar. We have all the dates and times listed there. And even if you can't make it, we typically record these sessions and send them a couple days after the training has completed, so you can have access to the recording of the training. All right, it looks like we have no more questions. Thank you so much for joining us today as we talked about giving you an overview of QuestionPro. We hope to see you next week as we dive into adding logic options to your surveys. Thanks very much. We'll talk to you later.